Hello my beautiful people, welcome to the weekly general overview with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you and I'm super grateful for everything that you do, for all of your likes, your shares, your subscription. It truly means the world. With that said, if you want to book a personal tarot reading, you can do so on the website address below in the description box. And also, you can now join to become a member of my YouTube community. So this is brand new, it's just hit. I'm really excited about it, and there's loads of amazing perks that you get if you are a member, starting with and not confined to early access to the weekly readings, the midweek motivation, the monthly general overview videos. So many of you asked for it, and it is now no longer in email format. It is up and out there will be up and out there in a video for you, which you can get if you become a member. And on top of that, there will be a VIP live stream where you are guaranteed to get a card pull in the monthly live read. So don't worry, for those of you that don't want to become members, the monthly live read is something that I love to do. It's my way of giving something back to my subscribers. Please do not panic and think, oh, you know, unless we become members, it's not going to be there. I will always do my live read. I had a blast on the last one, and I know I still owe you guys a song. So please don't think that I have forgotten any of that. Right, so all announcements finished. Let's get into what's going on. So I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the week ahead has in store for all of us. What is the weekly general overview that we all need to know? What is the energy that's coming through? And this week we have the Star card as the Destiny card, right? Which is beautiful. It represents joy, optimism, and it actually represents that moment where you can take a collective sigh of relief, right? We've got Mercury going direct. We have the new moon in Leo, which is taking place on the 1st or the 2nd, depending on where you are in the world. But either way, it's a brilliant energy, and it actually carries the message of the star really well. It's a message of hope. It's a message of something heartfelt. It's a message of trust and faith in the universe and in yourself. It's a message, you know, when you see the star card, it represents the sign of Aquarius, right? So you're talking about hope, optimism, but you're talking about trust. You're talking about a sense of community. And the star card itself really does, when you see the figure there, it's completely naked, right? And that talks about come as you are, be your original or authentic self. Don't be afraid to think outside the box, but it literally represents trust. When you come and you present yourself naked, not only does that put you, you know, some people might see it as, oh, but that makes you vulnerable, but it also gives you immense strength, because if you have the ability to stand as you are with no added extras, no bonuses, no frills, no makeup, no nothing, right? When you can just be your core essence self and say, this is it. As you see me, what you see is what you get, right? That's very much an Aquarian trait. And the thing with the star card as well, because it comes right after the tower, right? So it offers that peace, it offers the insight over the, you know, especially over the last month where we've all just been like literally, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, I looked in the mirror and I was like, Raph, you could take the shopping home in them bags, bruv. You need to sort it out. You know, I have felt it just like all of you have, and I really believe that the star card as the destiny card for this week ahead is basically saying, this is it. This is where we now push on. This is where we now, you know, like an arrow gets drawn back first, or, you know, like you have to jump on the trampoline before you get shot up into the air. This is that moment, right? Well, we've already had the moment of the jump and the trust and the faith. The star card is basically saying all of that hope, all of that optimism, all of those moments of those glimpses into the future are now about to start paying off. I know for myself, this whole month, I literally feel like I've done nothing but sit at my PC and write and prepare things. And I got to a point probably last week where I had a little moment and I was like, oh, you know, I can't, it's not that I couldn't see the point in it, but I was feeling a bit disillusioned. I was, you know, doing the little, behaving like a bit of a man-child, like, I've done all of this work and I haven't got anything out of it. And it's like, well, you haven't got anything out of it yet because you haven't started to put it out there. And I know that I couldn't put it out there at the time because it wasn't ready, right? Now that all the work and the preparation is done, the star card is basically saying, this is it. That glimpse in the future that kept you working and pushing so hard, even when you were just like, I literally was running on fumes at some days. We all felt that, right? We all felt it. And this week is where we start to see, this is where it starts to shape up and you have that moment of, this is what it was about. This is what it was for. This is why I felt that need and that drive to push myself beyond and actually to delve into resources on the internal level that I didn't really, well, maybe I didn't even remember that I had, right? Drawing on strength and reserves and depths of self that haven't been utilized in a while because, to be quite frank, we have a surplus of everything nowadays, you know? So like the second, you know, like little things happen, it's like, but when you start to draw on those reserves and you start to realize that actually I can go beyond this, I can push past my own upper limits, that's when you really start to discover not only what you're made of, but how powerful your strength, the strength of your faith and your trust in the universe really are. So on the wider world stage, this is talking about community. You may very well notice this week that people start to come together. Come together. You might notice that, you know, and even some of this could be disparate groups that don't necessarily tend to get on usually. You could see that people are reaching out to help each other. A really good example of this is I saw once there was in, I can't remember what city of the world it was, but a group of Christians surrounded, and I got goosebumps as I'm talking about this because it's such a powerful, you know, such a powerful example of human connection of what Aquarius truly represents, right? And that is a circle of Christians surrounded a group of Muslims so that they could pray in peace without being attacked. And I think it was a week later, those Muslims then went to the church to protect it and defend it while people were trying to break into it. Now that, for me, that shows it doesn't matter what you are, what your walk of life, where you come from, to be a human being and to protect and look after and love and care for other people, other human beings that you share a kinship with because you share the earth. Because regardless of whatever race, background, creed, colour, sexuality, whatever you are a human being. We have a kinship, therefore. We share this earth together. We live here as one, right? Regardless of what the lines and the barriers are that are drawn. So let's have a look at the direction. What is this likely to pertain to or, you know, talk about or mention? And this week we get the Queen of Swords, right? So very, very likely, if you know an Aquarius female, any of you, right? So whatever sign you are watching this, if you know an Aquarius female, check in with her. It might be that she has some form of a message for you. It may be that you have something to deliver to her. If there is a reconciliation that needs to happen between you and an older woman in your life, an older female, because the Queen of Swords tends to be somebody that is usually older than us, usually somebody that's weathered a few storms, so to speak. She's very forthright. The thing about the Queen of Swords, she doesn't hold back. She will tell you exactly what she thinks. But the thing that I love most about her, as you've probably heard me say a few times now, the Queen of Swords has a mouth like a sewer but a heart full of gold. When she makes a decision, you can rest assured she's making that decision. She's already thought it through and she's making it, you know, it might not be the thing that's going to please everybody, but she's done the most moderate thing that is going to, across the board, help you know, everybody in some way, shape or form. She's very, very fair, right? Now, as a direction card, the Queen of Swords is basically saying there is something that you might need to go to war for this week. And when I say go to war, I don't mean like, you know, rah, step in and just start erupting and swinging a sword or waving your intellect or your words about willy-nilly. You know, because it's got the Aquarius vibe there, giving it that. So Queen of Swords would be an air sign female. Aquarius, Gemini or Libra. Because the star card is in close proximity, I went straight to Aquarius. This is an Aquarian woman. In some way, shape or form, if you know one, connect with her. On a wider world stage, this could see groups of people standing up for one another. Some of them could be really disparate groups, or you could see certain people supporting other people and think, damn, I never would have expected that person to speak on their behalf. And this could happen in your personal life as well. You know, on the ground level. And the other thing with the Queen of Swords, she's ready. Like I said, she's got that mouth like a sewer. She will go for you. If you need to hear something, she will make sure that she is heard. She is not one to sit back or stand back and be silenced, right? So you may find it might even be you this week that you're speaking on somebody else's behalf. If you see an injustice, if you see somebody being railroaded, if you see somebody being pestered, abused, or anything like that, this will be the week where you stand up. And the fact that you stand up, right, this is us on a microcosmic level, you will be very, very quickly backed up by a lot of people. It's almost like the community that you're in will say, right, okay, well, somebody else is saying what I'm thinking, and since I'm thinking it as well, I'm going to stand with them. This is a really beautiful, beautiful energy, because it's, to me, it suggests that there's something about a wider community coming together. It could really feel like that. There could be a lot of familial stuff going on this week as well. There could even be some reconciliations. Now, I have to tell you, because it is the Queen of Swords, these reconciliations aren't just going to be all hugs and love. The chances are they will have some drama attached to them. They might have some really ugly things needing to be faced from the past, but there is total freedom and liberation, right? Remember what I said to you about the nakedness of the star card, right? There's that ability to trust and make yourself vulnerable, to say, look, you know what, it's okay not to know, it's okay to feel how you feel, but ultimately we are kin and this is how we need to proceed. So it might not necessarily be easy, but I can tell you it will be bloody worth it in the end. So let's have a look-see at the insight card. What's going on behind the scenes? And this week we get the Knight of Swords. So it's all in the mental realm this week, right? So lots of communication, lots of sharing, lots of insight, and the thing with the Knight of Swords, sometimes it can represent that fast, aggressive communication. The star card is almost adding a bit of a salve to this week, right? So it basically says, yes, there may be some dramatic turn of events when it comes to communication, when it comes to people speaking up, speaking out. There could possibly be some form of a protest happening this week. It's very likely to be the younger people, and it could possibly have a feminine slant to it, or something about women, something about women's rights, or, you know, woe betide the day they try to bring any of that abortion crap over here. You know, and try to enforce what women can and can't do with their bodies. I think our people at the top know enough to leave that alone, I hope anyway. But it does look like there's a younger group speaking out. Why? The star card represents Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus majorly, in the majority, let's say, in the new sphere, and Uranus represents younger people, right? But then you've got the Queen of Swords there, which suggests that so if there is some form of a protest happening this week, I feel like it will either be around women or something to do with young people, possibly students. So that's on a wider world stage. Now, like I said, the Knight of Swords can be aggressive communication, but as an insight, it suggests that if there is a pull towards you speaking up and speaking out about something, make sure that you do it in a way that you are heard. You can be passionate, you can get your point across, you can maybe even, like I do every so often with my potty mouth, throw in a swear word or two, but keep it in line, keep it in context. Make sure that it's used to emphasize a point. And what I mean by that is, sometimes the message that we have to deliver gets us so fired up, right? And we feel so deeply that we kind of end up losing it and going off on a massive tangent, or, you know, going into a massive rant. If you can focus that energy and use the power of your articulation and your words, use the power of sturdy debate and liberation, if you can stick inside that energy and keep the passion, This week you could verbally, mentally even move mountains. This could be a very powerful week if you're giving a speech, if you're a public speaker of any kind, if you've got a presentation to deliver. Providing you focus and channel that energy the way that you come across. Like, I got goosebumps all over now. Like, literally you could move mountains with your words, or rile people up in a way that really goes on to affect and create change, right? So that's this week in a nutshell. I hope it's helped. I hope it resonates and it gives you something, or even gives you pause and food for thought, right? There will be something this week that possibly potentially pushes your buttons. Keep that fire that it gives you. Use your words, use your brain, bring the two together, and make sure that you channel that energy, because if you channel it in the correct way, the way that the weight that your words can have this week will be super powerful. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.